We'll be discussing topics such as the trade restrictions and price of domestic crude oil, the oil ban and the price of domestic gasoline, impacts on the midstream, energy security, and the trade enhancements of energy security.
Trade restrictions and domestic crude oil price. Removing restrictions on crude exports would benefit the U.S. economy as a whole, including reduced customer fuel costs, more investment in U.S. exploration, development, and production of crude oil, increase in domestic crude oil production, U.S. gross domestic product gain, potential job gains throughout the U.S., government revenue increase, reduction of the trade deficit, and barrels per day increase. These current restrictions also affect our crude oil prices. These restrictions cause slow production because we cannot send crude oil overseas to other refineries. Lifting these restrictions would cause our crude oil that is currently below the price of elsewhere to rise towards world prices.
To see the full impact of the crude oil ban, one must first look at who crude oil prices directly affect, and that is the refineries. Many refineries use the implicit call option as a way to calculate where to buy their crude supply in order to maximize their own profit. Basically, the implicit call option sets two sources of crude equal to each other to analyze which one is priced lower for the quality it offers. By lifting the ban on American crude, the higher quality American crude will become more cost-effective for foreign refiners to produce. This will in turn create lower gasoline prices for consumers.
The United States pipelines, railways, and port facilities are commonly referred to collectively as the midstream. There are four main ways that lifting the export ban would affect the United States midstream. First off, the new infrastructures, pipelines, and railways would generate a stimulus in the economy. Second, many people would invest in the midstream oil transportation, which would allow the oil producers to profit more because they were now able to sell their oil at a non-discounted price. Also, the U.S. would expand its trade horizons with other countries due to new trading ports opening. Last, the rise in the economy and the investments would create numerous new jobs in the midstream oil field.
In order to reach energy security, an economy needs three main things from its energy suppliers: an adequate supply, a reliable source, and relatively low pricing. With the production of oil raised dramatically from the previous decade, much of our dependency on foreign oil as a necessary supply to our economy has diminished. In addition to weighing our need for foreign oil, the added production creates a reliable source of energy for our country, free of any turmoil found in the Middle East. Because of America's newfound energy freedom, we now have partial control of the price of oil, where OPEC and other foreign powers controlled much of the price before. By disregarding this crude oil ban, the United States can become more of a factor in the control of the oil market pricing. This control of the oil market will give America more security of its own oil prices.
To increase energy security within the United States, one must increase trade, but it's impossible with the current U.S. ban on exporting crude oil. While talking about trade, one must talk about price vitality and how the rapid change decreases U.S. energy security. So we must use fungibility or open trade to combat this, using opportunities with intertemporal and spatial. And then those that approve the ban, say that the barriers are not hurting the country, but in fact they are, because they are not letting the vitality to space out and not reaching equal prices, which in turn leads to less production domestically. Related to domestic production, people feel like if we traded all of our oil, we would lose what we have. But in fact, if we started trading, it would increase production by giving a cushion to those who drill here domestically. As the U.S. is not the only country in the world, we also have to worry about the global market. The global market is very important, and if the U.S. were to join in the oil global market, you would see the immediate impacts, including a stabilized market and as well as geopolitical relations, in turn would help with the current energy security.
We have discussed topics such as trade restrictions and the price of domestic crude oil, how it can reduce customer fuel costs, also how it can lead to more investments in U.S. exploration, development, and production of crude oil. We've also discussed the oil ban and the price of domestic gasoline. which will help lower gasoline prices and also help America as a net exporter. We've discussed the impact on the midstream, which will help create jobs for Americans and would also create new trade opportunities for the U.S. We have discussed energy security, where lift of the ban will provide an adequate supply of energy. Also, lift of the ban will supply a reliable source of energy for the United States. We have discussed trade-enhanced security, where currently trade barriers prevent the United States from trading crude oil to foreign countries.